Xiaoxiancao Moqin is dead, but not completely dead. She was saved by a system, and in exchange, she needed to go to various levels to eliminate the male and female protagonists and help the villains achieve ultimate victory. As the white moonlight in the heart of the original male protagonist, what she does is all the work of the villain. As I worked on it, things gradually became wrong. The male protagonist of the plane. The prodigal son will not exchange gold when he returns, I still love you. Plain female protagonist. Why hasn't this white moonlight been taken offline yet? Your script is not right. The villain held on to Moqin and didn't let go. The white moonlight is you, and the cinnabar mole is also you. Moqin. Wait, I haven't killed the male and female leads yet. Opponent. Wife is good, we don't play with fools. I had no intention of cultivating plants and trees. Is this destined in the dark, or has it been planned step by step for a long time? 1v1, sweet pet double cleanliness, keywords of the novel. Quickly wearing the white moonlight, she obtained the Villainous script without a pop-up window. Quickly wearing the white moonlight, she obtained the complete TXT collection of the Villainous script for download. Quickly wearing the white moonlight, she obtained the latest chapter of the Villainous script for reading. Chapter 1. Ba Zong's Pure First Love 1. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1 Ba Zong's Pure First Love 1. An indescribable heat rose up, as if there were millions of ants crawling on their bodies. Moqin felt a fire burning in her heart, unable to feel any pain, but very unbearable. No pain. She was calculated and thrown into the ghostly fire, almost losing her soul. Emotes opened her eyes and was slightly stunned by the unfamiliar environment around her. She lay in bed, in a plain white room with dazzling lights and no one around. Where is this? Before she could unleash her imagination and launch conspiracy theories, a cold and emotionless voice rang out. Do you want to survive? Moqin reached out and tugged at the collar, trying to relieve the dryness and heat on her body. Think. Although I don't know who's talking, who wants to die? She didn't hesitate at all. She wants to find the person who harmed her and seek revenge. Moqin is a plant of immortal grass that has been cultivated into immortals. Since its inception, it has been devoted to the Tao, with only cultivation in its eyes. Never formed enemies with others, nor owed any debt of gratitude. Even her true self is nothing but a worthless little fairy grass. It doesn't make sense to cause harm to life. Who is trying to calculate her fate? Great, since we want to survive, let's make a deal. What transaction? Moqin didn't hear the voice answering her, but a dull pain hit her brain. Some memories that do not belong to her fill her mind, tangled and confusing, and unclear. This taste is not pleasant. She held back a word. The system did not look at her performance differently, and it seems that such scenes have long been commonplace. Without any mercy, he said coldly. You need to help the villain take down the male and female leads. Moqin felt a chill in her heart. Kill the male and female leads. Is the thing that saved her a wicked way to enslave her and seize her luck? The system can easily guess what she is thinking, but there is no explanation or refutation. If you don't want to do it, I can send you back. Send it back. She will be completely burned by the ghost fire. She said it was a transaction, but she had no choice. For the sake of survival, people cannot do anything. Moreover, from the memory given to her by the system, it seems that this world is somewhat strange. Do you have an antidote? This body has been drugged indescribably, and there is no spiritual energy in this world. She cannot suppress the effects and can only seek help from the system. But in response, it was just a sneer. No, if I have done everything for you, what else do you need to do? Moqin. I didn't ask you to do anything, did I? This room will soon be occupied and should not be left for long. Moqin suppressed her anger with nowhere to vent and got out of bed. She slightly tidied up her clothes and opened the room to escape. But as soon as she took a few steps, she heard the sound of conversation coming from ahead. It's a familiar sound from this body. She was so anxious that a cold sweat broke out on her forehead, and the effect of the medicine almost made her dizzy. Moqin immediately ran to the other end of the corridor. Fortunately there was a safe passage here. She walked up the stairs to the next floor and then took the elevator to the first floor of the hotel. There is no danger in danger. Moqin was wearing a conservative plain long dress, and apart from an abnormal blush on her face, there was nothing inappropriate about it. She doesn't have any money or a phone right now. The top priority is to address the medication effects on the body. At this moment, two men walked forward and backward not far away, and Moqin's eyes suddenly lit up. Seeing this, the system's heart sank. Are we going to fail again? The man walking ahead has a handsome face, sword eyebrows and starry eyes, and is not angry or arrogant. Even Moqin, who has seen many young immortal men, has to admit that this man has a good set of skin. The person behind him had an ordinary face, serious and capable, and followed him step by step. As the three of them got closer, Moqin listened to the cold voice in her mind and said, "Friendly reminder. During the mission, please keep Chu Han's favorability score positive for you, and there is no limit to the type of favorability score." Chu Han, who is that? Unlimited types, what does it mean? These doubts flashed by and were quickly forgotten. It's burning with anger, and I still have a good impression. Hello sir, can you lend me some money? It's urgent. The man walking ahead had a frosty face, and his gaze towards Moqin was filled with impatience. But the man behind him showed a clear expression. When this pure and beautiful woman with a blushing face walked towards him, he guessed it. He took the customary step forward and said, "Sorry, this lady, without WeChat or phone number, can't borrow money." WeChat. Telephone. What the hell, does borrowing money require such a complex process? Moqin was a bit confused, not sure if the robbery would be successful. Li Qi, cash. Alright, boss. Li Qi felt in his pocket and actually pulled out a few red tickets. He was fortunate to have cash in his pocket today. Thank you, thank you. Moqin snatched the money, even thanked him, and then ran away without looking back. She doesn't have much, but based on vague memory, it should be enough. Li Qi looked at his empty palm, and the woman who borrowed money had already run away without a trace. This. Really grabbing, no, borrowing money. This. Li Qi quietly looked up at the big boss who still had a cold face, feeling puzzled in his heart. It seems that in the future, when going out with the boss, we need to put some cash in our pockets. If I encounter a woman who borrows money again and can't come up with the money, wouldn't it be embarrassing for the boss? But when did the boss become so kind-hearted? Repay people for borrowing money. TSK, this money must not come back. Little 1000. Meat hurts. Moqin took the money and took a taxi to the hospital. In the car, Moqin tried to remain calm, secretly pinching her forearm to keep her mind clear. When the car arrived at the hospital, there were already several pinch marks on her tender white arms. If you feel unwell, it's definitely right to seek medical attention. The doctor is kind and friendly, while the nurse is gentle and meticulous. Next time. Pooh, no next time. Moqin tossed around for most of the night and returned to the original owner's cottage, wearing stars and moon. I hastily took a bath and nestled under the blanket to organize my thoughts. The original protagonist, also known as Moqin, was the male protagonist's first love under the white moonlight. The male protagonist Qin Jun is a wealthy second generation, and the original protagonist comes from an ordinary family background. The two met, got to know, and fell in love in college. Just as the two were fighting fiercely, Qin Jun's family learned about their situation. Qin's mother found the original owner and threw a check to him, asking him to leave Qin Jun. Although the original owner was poor, he also had a strong sense of pride, and she did not agree. Qin's mother did not give up and instead threatened the original owner's family, and the two made a bet. Qin's mother arranged for the original owner to study abroad and promised that if she returned from her studies, Qin Jun would still like her and agree to let her be with his son. Of course, Qin Jun was not aware. Qin Jun thought that the original owner had abandoned him for a future and harbored resentment towards him. He quickly found a new girlfriend, Su Yao, who was also the female lead. Moreover, Su Yao bears some resemblance to the original owner in terms of appearance. The original owner worked hard to study abroad just to return home early. After the original owner returned to China, Qin Jun had already become a newcomer by his side. The original owner would not allow himself to be a mistress. If you miss something, let it go. But Qin Jun did not let go. Faced with the indifference of the original owner, he was furious. Using one's own network to cause trouble for the original owner everywhere, causing them to lose their job. Even prevented the original owner from finding a new job. The original owner could have left the city, but was once again blackmailed. Qin Jun asked the original owner to be his assistant, rubbing and bullying her all day long. All of this was seen by Su Yao, who dared not directly trouble Qin Jun and could only take action against the original owner. At a drinking party, Su Yao drugged the original owner and sent her to the room of a man in his 40s who had a family. One night passed, and everything that should have happened. After learning about this, Qin Jun felt heartbroken, but he also became even more disgusted with the original owner. She is indeed a woman who is open-minded when it comes to money, even an old man with a family can't resist talking. But Qin Jun still did not let the original owner leave. There are 2 out of 1, and Su Yao's calculations are endless. Finally, he directed and acted on his own, framing the original protagonist to harm her, making Qin Jun completely disgusted with the original protagonist. As a man, how can you let your beloved woman be hurt? He waved his hand and threw the original owner into the club, letting her be bullied and humiliated. Not long after, the original owner contracted an unclean disease and passed away. A beautiful and talented student with a bright future was rubbed to death like this. And the family of the original owner is ashamed of her and has long since stopped recognizing her as a daughter. The experience of the original protagonist is sympathetic, but what Moqin cares more about is the male and female protagonists. The male and female protagonists cannot be such people unless there are problems in this world or the memories given by the system are false. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Ba Zong's Pure First Love 2. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. Ba Zong's Pure First Love 2. But her recent experience told her that this is not fake. What exactly went wrong? Also, Chu Han. Who is he? Who is the villain? Chu Han is the villain, the person you borrowed money from. Considering that Moqin had successfully survived her first night, the system showed great compassion to help her clarify her doubts. Why do you want to kill the male and female leads? What is your purpose? Moqin cannot be fooled or retaliated. This system saved my life. So she kindly asked her doubts. But the other party has no intention of cooperating. This is not what you should ask. Are you trying to steal the luck of the male and female protagonists? Stealing. It should be returning to its rightful owner. However, the system does not intend to explain these matters to Moqin. In its view, Moqin is no different from the people it caught before. As long as it wants, it can kick the Moqin back. Both sides are not equal at all. It doesn't remember how many people it caught. No one succeeded in the task that seemed easy to it. It has tried so many times that it has become numb, but it still hasn't given up. If the owner's luck is stolen, then the owner will never come back. Not related to you. The sound of the system remains indifferent. Moqin. She needs to do this herself. How could it be unrelated to her? Grass, a plant. Moqin rolled up the blanket and covered herself tightly. Love to say, not to say. Moqin slept soundly, but some people were so excited that they couldn't sleep. Where did she go? Qin Jun rubbed his brow, apparently drinking a bit too much tonight. He even lost a ticket, but now he still has the heart to think about his first love. She probably went back. Suyao helped the man take off his coat, hang it up and put it aside, gentle and virtuous. Upon hearing this, Qin Jun's brow furrowed even tighter. Oh, a little assistant, how dare she sneak away at a cocktail party? I don't think she wants to get away with it. Suyao had a gentle and pure expression on her face, and upon hearing these words, a hint of concern was perfectly conveyed. Perhaps she has something urgent to attend to. Miss Mo's workability is still evident, but this small mistake is not a big deal. The man grabbed the slender jade finger that pinched his shoulder and pulled him into his arms. He placed his head on the woman's shoulder and neck, spraying hot air, causing the person in his arms to tremble lightly. Yao Yao, you are really a kind and understanding girl. She always thinks of others, but that woman doesn't deserve it. She trampled on her own sincerity and abandoned him. Even though I was about to forget her, she came back. The woman who admires vanity. Leaving is for a future. Coming back is for wealth. Then let her get nothing by herself. Suyao wrapped her arms around the man's neck and said, I'm not that good, I just don't want you to be upset. Ah Jun, I don't have any great ambitions, nor do I seek a future or wealth. I just want to be with you. If you're happy, I'll be happy. After tonight, can Moqin, that Beipao person, still argue with him? It's just a broken shoe. I believe that Beipao person is now eager to become immortal and die. Upon hearing the woman's confession, Qin Jun's heart was filled with excitement. This was the woman he wanted. The woman let out a coquettish cry and the two rolled into a ball. Sleepless all night. Moqin woke up and looked at the unfamiliar environment. He was stunned for a moment before realizing that he had already died. She got up slowly to wash and tidy up, and the unfamiliar face in the mirror made her feel a bit uncomfortable. Egg-shaped face, willow eyebrows, red lips and white teeth, pure yet not dull, she is a beauty. Now that the core has been changed, it has added a touch of ethereal charm to its already beautiful appearance. As time goes on, this body will only become more and more beautiful. But she didn't have the heart to appreciate it. She's here, where has the original owner gone? The system has never seen so many women. The bodies it chooses are all unfortunate people who suffer due to the male and female protagonists. They were so happy that someone helped them seek revenge and happily reincarnated. It's just a transaction. Moqin got up early and went to retrieve the original owner's bag and phone. There are more than 10 missed calls on the phone. A few were fought by Qin Jun, and the rest were Qin Jun's assistants. She eliminated all the red dots on her phone and had no intention of calling back. Think of the person who lent me money yesterday. Since he is the assistant of the villain, both sides are enemies of the male protagonist and can be considered allies. There will always be a chance to meet and repay the money in the future. Moqin arrived at the company on time, and all the assistants were already in their positions, except for the boss Qin Jun. It was not until almost 11 o'clock that Qin Jun arrived late. As soon as he arrived, Moqin felt his gaze fall on him. Moqin's attention was completely focused on the work at hand, and the original owner's ability was indeed good. With the original owner's memory alone, she could easily handle the work at hand. It's really a waste of talent to confine her in such a position. Moqin divided her attention and used her spare light to scrutinize the male lead. Tall with long legs and a dog-like appearance, he is the Diamond King in the hearts of many women. It's just that, today, this Diamond King, the fifth, is currently dark and his footsteps are floating, and there are still some Unable to meet his expectations. The system keeps popping up, and I don't know which one got it wrong. It's a bit creepy. What? Are you interested in the male lead? Moqin. Are you blind? I warn you, don't move your mind that shouldn't be, otherwise I'll kick you out. Sure enough, without any investigation, just dragging the guy over casually is not a worry. Tired, oh. Moqin responded in her heart, feeling a bit perfunctory. Yesterday something happened suddenly, I was too nervous and didn't perform well. She is a calm and self-sufficient little fairy grass with a clear mind and few desires. The 3,000 small worlds are a great place to experience. If you can successfully complete the transaction with the system, perhaps your cultivation can be improved a lot. This can also be considered another kind of cultivation. Moqin secretly comforted herself. Dingling, the internal phone on the table suddenly rang. It was the male lead who approached her and called her in. Moqin smoothed out the wrinkled workwear caused by sitting for a long time and walked inside with her high heels. She is an elegant and beautiful little fairy grass. The system couldn't help but worry. This broken grass shouldn't really take a liking to that scumbag, right? No, it has to prepare to look for the next strong man. Mr. Qin, do you have anything to do with me? Moqin lowered her head slightly and spoke softly, creating a ripple in her heart. Qin Jun suddenly felt a little dry mouth and tongue, and he was a bit confused. Pour me a cup of coffee and come in. Coffee. Don't say it on the phone, insist on someone coming in before giving orders. This man's actions are too disorganized. Without organization, efficiency is low. If everyone were like him, probably not many would have succeeded in cultivation. While Moqin roasted in his heart, he quietly poured coffee and coffee. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Ba Zong's Pure First Love 3. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. Ba Zong's Pure First Love 3. The little fairy grass with the original owner's memory, of course, can brew coffee. She frowned slightly when smelling the bitter and mellow aroma of coffee. She doesn't like the rich and bitter taste, but prefers the refreshing and light fragrance of grass and trees. Qin Jun was drinking coffee brewed with Moqin, and his eyes couldn't help but run towards her. The girl had red lips and white teeth, elegant and extraordinary. At this moment, she lowered her eyebrows and lowered her eyes, standing in front of her, within reach. He almost tried to hold her in his arms, but he can't. Back then, Moqin disregarded their friendship, abandoned him, and went abroad. It seemed like it happened yesterday, and every time he thought of this, his whole heart ached. I have returned now, without looking for him, without any words or explanations. What a heartless and ruthless woman she is. He can never be deceived by this woman again. Only he knows that beneath this pure and harmless appearance lies a heart that tends to follow the trend and is greedy for power and prestige. Bitterness entered Qin Jun's throat, causing him to pause for a moment. He furrowed his brow and stared at Moqin with displeased eyes. What happened to you last night? Do you know how important that wine party was? You left without permission. Because of your negligence, the company lost a big order. Can you bear the responsibility? A series of questioning came pouring in, and if anyone else were standing here, they might be frightened by his aura and become disorganized. Standing in front of him is Moqin. Although she is still a young baby among a group of immortals who have lived for countless years, at least she is also a fairy. For an ordinary person in a world of 3,000, she is not afraid at all. Moreover, the loss of the order has nothing to do with her at all. This is just Qin Jun's attempt to punish Moqin, and it's just a black pot on her head. Qin Jun has done many things like this. I'm sorry, Mr. Qin. Yesterday, there was a reason why I had to leave early. Moqin didn't lift her head either, maintaining her previous posture to defend herself. In her soft whispers, Qin Jun's mind had already been filled with how her eyes were turning red and anxious. Thinking so, Qin Jun felt a hint of unbearable feeling in his heart, and he hardened his heart with a tone of disgust. What's going on? Last night at a cocktail party, I accidentally took medicine, so I had to rush to the hospital. In a hurry, I also forgot my personal belongings in the hotel, which is why. Moqin spoke the truth very confidently. What? Have you been drugged? Qin Jun's eyes were flustered as he scanned back and forth over Moqin's body. Why didn't you come to me? The rest of the conversation was held tightly in his stomach. Find him. What are you looking for him for? In this moment, even he himself didn't know. Moqin took out several sheets from his shirt pocket and handed them to his desk. This is the hospital's diagnosis and treatment form. White paper and black text, clear and clear, confirm that what the girl said is true. Mr. Qin, I don't know which company has lost the order. If possible, I will do my best to remedy it. Qin Jun's thoughts were pulled back. He was not fully confident that he could get the order from any particular company. That's just to scare her, she actually took it seriously. He pretended to be. Since you are also a last resort and I am not the kind of inhumane boss, I will not pursue this matter. Oh, don't pursue what you say. But he himself has also realized now that it's too much of a stretch to blame her. How could Moqin inexplicably accept such kindness and righteousness from her superiors? Mr. Qin, although you won't pursue it further, you must tell me which order it is. Even if he didn't say it, Moqin would still know about it. It's Mr. Wang's order. Mr. Wang. Moqin suddenly lifted her head, her handsome face full of doubts, and her eyes clearly expressed a question. What does Mr. Wang's order have to do with me? According to the plot, this really has a bit of a relationship. This Mr. Wang is the man in his 40s who has a family. When he returned to his room that night, he found a beautiful woman lying on the bed. The beauty was still Qin Jun's assistant, and he took it for granted that this was a gift that Qin Jun had given to please him, so he enjoyed it without hesitation. The joy of the process made him change his mind and choose to cooperate with Qin Jun. Now that this matter has not happened, Mr. Wang naturally did not change his mind. This order is lost. Alright, you don't have to worry about this anymore. Go back to work. Qin Jun felt a hint of embarrassment from his innocent gaze, and he remained calm and didn't want to talk about this topic anymore. Yes. Moqin turned around and left Qin Jun's office, returning to her workstation. The other assistants looked at Moqin intentionally or unintentionally. They heard Mr. Qin's angry voice and thought that Moqin would be punished again like before, but they didn't expect that she did nothing this time. Although puzzled in my heart, no one went up to ask. The boss paid them to hire them, not to let them gossip in the office. I didn't expect you to be so useful. The system snorted coldly. Sometimes playing a straight ball is more effective than beating around the bush. Not to mention that Moqin is a small fairy grass that pursues efficiency and only wants to cultivate. I haven't delved into the world yet, and I don't want to make those twists and turns in meaningless things. Moqin asked in her heart, who is the person who collaborates with Mr. Wang? There are probably 2 tricks to compete with the male lead for business. Let's first understand, maybe it will come in handy in the future. Who else can it be? Of course it's my dad. It's my master, so the villain is your father. Moqin nodded without any doubt about the system speaking. It's not innocent and simple, but, this has nothing to do with her. Not important, not caring, not doubting. The relationship between the two will not affect what she needs to accomplish. I'm not saying he's my dad, I'm saying. Halfway through, the system suddenly remembered something and stopped. Forget it, there's nothing to explain to you, you idiot. Oh, is he your dad or not? Seeing the system say so much for the first time, Moqin didn't want to ignore it and decided to chat with it enthusiastically. No, he's my master. Anyway, the father I'm talking about is not the blood relationship you think. It is indeed a foolish grass. Don't have the same understanding as her. Hello, complete the task well. If you can really do it, my master and I will definitely reward you with generous rewards. Moqin calmly responded, traversing 3,000 small worlds and improving her cultivation level. When her strength was sufficient, she could also save herself, and she didn't care if there was any reward. Of course, she did not suspect that the system was lying. The system could easily save her. Its owner was certainly extraordinary, with some rare treasures that were normal, but she was not an insatiable little fairy. If she could save her life, she would be satisfied. It wasn't until later that she realized that this reward wasn't something she wanted to give away. I can't even shake it off. However, this is all for later discussion. During the chat between Moqin and the system, Qin Jun called another male assistant in. In just 5 minutes, the male assistant came out. After coming out, he even looked at Moqin with a look of gossip in his eyes. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Ba Zong's Pure First Love 4. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. Ba Zong's Pure First Love 4. Su Yao also works in this company, but in other departments. It wasn't until the afternoon that Su Yao came to work at the company. Her face was rosy, and she furrowed her brows. It was evident that last night had been quite smooth. When she saw Moqin sitting at her desk, she was noticeably stunned. After looking around for a while, she walked into Qin Jun's office with a strange expression on her face. As soon as she entered with her front foot, the internal phone on the Moqin table with her back foot rang. Let her pour 2 cups of coffee in. Moqin. What's good about coffee? Moqin carried 2 cups of coffee in, and Su Yao was standing beside Qin Jun, with one hand resting on the man's shoulder. The two of them were very close, and Su Yao smiled coquettishly. When Moqin didn't let her in, Su Yao glanced at her with his spare light, his eyebrows tinged with a hint of pride. Mr. Qin, Miss Su, your coffee. Moqin walked with coffee in hand. Sister Moqin, Jun told me everything about last night. Are you okay? Su Yao reached out her hands to pick up the coffee from Moqin's hand. She didn't fully believe what Qin Jun told her. It's not that she doesn't believe in Qin Jun, but that she doesn't believe in Moqin. How could a woman take the initiative to tell the man she likes about her relationship with another man? So, she was certain that Moqin had concealed the most important part, claiming that she had been humiliated and almost humiliated, in order to gain Qin Jun's love. But with her, Su Yao, how could Moqin succeed? She wants to uncover the truth. Let Qin Jun take a good look, this woman is no longer clean. Suddenly, Su Yao shook her hand and coffee spilled out, soaking the cuffs of Moqin. The white lining is stained with deep coffee stains, and the fair and tender skin is burnt red. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Su Yao placed the cup on the table and hurriedly reached out to lift the sleeves of Moqin. A few bruised pinch marks on the arm were instantly exposed before my eyes. This. Su Yao let out a cry of surprise, and a gloating smile appeared at the corner of her mouth, fleeting. Ah. I'm sorry, I didn't expect. Hee, your boyfriend is also too aggressive and doesn't know how to cherish her. Su Yao helped Moqin wipe the coffee on her wrist and cuffs with a tissue while laughing and jokingly. Hey. I remember. Isn't Sister Moqin without a boyfriend? So this. Su Yao suddenly looked up and looked at Moqin with a puzzled expression, as if she wanted an answer. If Qin Jun still had reason now, he could hear Su Yao's ill intentions. But he didn't. At the moment he saw the pinch mark, various thoughts surged in his heart, and finally turned into a strong anger and unwillingness. Qin Jun grabbed Moqin's wrist tightly, and the smooth and soft touch did not arouse any of his charming thoughts. It only made him more unwilling and regretful, and he roared. Who did it? Me. Moqin is a bit unclear, isn't it, because she pinched it yesterday? Why is he so angry? Cluck Sister Moqin, if you say you accidentally hit it, it's more credible than saying you pinched it yourself. Suyao stood aside. This was the first time she had ever been angry because of the contact between Moqin and Qin Jun. Last night, when she brought Moqin to Mr. Wang's room, everyone was already lost in consciousness. How could we possibly escape? Although I don't know why she still came to work at the company today like nothing happened, it's not important now. Importantly, Qin Jun already knew that Moqin was not clean. That's enough. You, yourself. Qin Jun said word by word, his hand gripping Moqin suddenly tightened, causing Moqin's eyebrows to furrow in pain. You're hurting me. Moqin shook off Qin Jun's hand and rubbed his wrist. What kind of nerves does this person have? Moqin, tell me, yesterday. Who bullied you yesterday? Qin Jun's voice trembled slightly. He gritted his teeth and vowed to find the person and let them taste Qin Jun's raging anger. Moqin, he hasn't even touched a finger. That unknown guy, how dare he? Moqin is Qin Jun's woman. As long as he doesn't say no, Moqin will be his forever. Moqin didn't know what Qin Jun was thinking. If she knew, she would only give him 3 words. You have a serious illness. I say I pinched it myself, believe it or not. If the explanation is useful, why do we need evidence? Crazy. Ah Jun, what are you talking about? Didn't you say that last night Sister Moqin went to the hospital in time and nothing happened? Suyao opened her mouth in surprise, looked at Moqin, and then at the injury on her arm. Did Moqin deceive you? Hospitals. Moqin stared at the marks on her arm and had a guess in her heart. Qin Jun's eyes turned red and angry. Yao, go back to your office first. Well. All right. Ah Jun, don't be too angry, Moqin's sister. This is not her intention either. Suyao twisted her waist and walked outside the office. When she reached the door, she turned her head and showed a proud smile to Moqin. Turning around and going out, he put on a worried expression and walked away with high heels. In the office, Moqin stepped back a few steps without any panic. Seeing this, Qin Jun suddenly vented his anger and fell heavily back onto his office chair. Are you really unwilling to say who that man is? As for Moqin's claim that he pinched it himself, he completely doesn't believe it. For a long time, he looked at the marks on Moqin's arm with a painful gaze and quickly moved away. Qin Jun did not ask Moqin to leave, and as a subordinate, Moqin was not good at making his own decisions. The two of them were deadlocked, and neither spoke up. At this moment, Suyao went back and forth, looking apologetically at the silent Moqin. Ah Jun, I suddenly remembered that I saw Moqin's sister go up to the 45th floor of the hotel last night. 45 floors. That's not a floor that anyone can live on. The person who lived on the 45th floor last night, to his knowledge, only, Mr. Wang. Upon hearing this news, Qin Jun's face turned black and dark. The little hope he had originally harbored was instantly extinguished when he saw Moqin hanging his head in silence. His heart throbbed fiercely again, as if being cut by a dull knife, and the person holding the knife was the beautiful and fragile Moqin. Mr. Wang is not someone he can handle casually. A middle-aged man who has gained weight, an ugly face, and a family. Seeing Qin Jun's expression, Suyao felt secretly happy and silently left. She said this for no other reason, just to make Qin Jun disgusted with Moqin. A woman touched by such a man, Qin Jun could never speak again. Now, Moqin is completely eliminated. Without this first love that holds a place in Qin Jun's heart, the other birds, and swallows are not to be afraid of. The position of the young lady of the Qin family is already in her bag. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Ba Zong's Pure First Love 5. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Chapter 5. Ba Zong's Pure First Love 5 Moqin was finally released from the office, and Qin Jun sat in a chair, not even in the mood to handle official duties. Seeing Moqin come out, several assistants outside with stretched necks quickly withdrew their gaze and flipped through the things at hand, eager to cover up. Today is a bit exciting. I'm not in the mood to work anymore. The parties involved were not affected at all. Shoo, I thought you were so smart. That Su Yao just instigated a few words. Moqin automatically ignores its words. If we explain it clearly now, how could Qin Jun go crazy? And she explained, it's just that the other person doesn't believe it. Why is being bruised on the body associated with losing innocence? Can't the marks of Wuqing be beaten? Qin Jun asked if someone was bullying her, and for a moment she thought so. On second thought, Qin Jun used to make excuses to bully the original owner. It wasn't until Su Yao mentioned the hospital that she had this conjecture. Moqin doesn't understand the connection between the two. The system is a bit stuttering, she doesn't even know about it. It underestimated the level of ignorance of Moqin. She devoted herself to cultivation and ignored mundane matters, ignoring everything except those related to cultivation. But now it seems that this is related to her task. She still needs to have some understanding. You will understand this in the future. The system knows the reason, but let it speak up and explain. It can't do it, no one is still a little innocent. Moqin remained dumbfounded, accustomed to the unpredictable attitude of the system. Even if she wasn't accustomed to it, what could she do? Don't say it, don't say it. What's so amazing? As for the system saying she's useless, she is such a smart fairy, how could a system understand her? With this in mind, she began to focus on her current job again. It wasn't that she wanted to contribute to the male lead's company, but rather that she needed to learn more and find ways to cause trouble for him. She is serious about her work. Time passed by minute by second, and for the next 2 hours or so, Qin Jun remained motionless. The office was quiet and silent, with only the sound of typing on keyboards and flipping through paper. Suddenly, Qin Jun's office door slammed open from the inside. Qin Jun was wearing a black suit jacket, with the button inside buttoned to the top. His eyebrows furrowed tightly, and his handsome face was filled with a terrifying storm. Anyone with eyes knows that the boss is in a very bad mood now. Qin Jun walked quickly with his slender legs and walked straight towards the door. Everyone in this office raised their heads and looked at their boss in confusion, waiting for his orders. Moqin, come with me. At the moment when his figure walked out of the office door, his voice reached everyone's ears. Everyone has only one idea in their hearts: Moqin is done. The boss is so angry now, it must be Moqin who made a big death. Although I don't know where the boss is taking Moqin, it's definitely not a good thing. The girl named had a calm expression on her face, calmly saving her ongoing work and keeping her computer on standby. She followed out with steady steps. Moqin caught up with Qin Jun, who was waiting for the elevator, in 3 or 2 steps and stood silently behind him, thinking to himself. The male lead really can't hold his breath. This guy is actually the male lead. Apart from being good-looking, I really can't find any other impressive advantages. A luxurious and stylish luxury car stopped at the entrance of the Wang Group building, and Qin Jun rushed to the front desk with steps that he didn't recognize. The receptionist stood up from the seat with a swipe, tall, handsome, and wealthy. Her mind was momentarily confused, but she quickly regained consciousness. If it weren't for his extraordinary demeanor, she would have thought this person was a mischievous scoundrel who came to cause trouble. The receptionist smiled with a standard smile of 8 teeth and asked in a harmonious tone, "Sir, what can I do for you?" "I want to see you, Mr. Wang." Qin Jun's volume was not low, and everyone in the hall heard him. The security guard at the door was vigilant and ready to step forward at any time. "Do you have an appointment?" The receptionist tried to maintain a smile. Although this person is handsome, you can't make trouble for no reason, can you? Does Wang always want to meet whenever he wants? Qin Jun took a deep breath and came out in such a hurry that he forgot. He lifted his chin and glared at the beautiful receptionist through his nostrils, arrogantly saying. Tell you Mr. Wang, just say Qin Jun wants to see him. The receptionist naturally heard of this name, so she had to call the CEO's secretary. But in my heart, my senses for this person are extremely poor. The receptionist put down the phone and smiled at Qin Jun, saying, Mr. Wang agrees with you. Please come with me. Guide the person to the elevator, open the elevator, and make a gesture of invitation to Qin Jun. Hurry up and see off this impolite guy. Just pitied the little sister who was with him and smiled friendly at him. It's really unfortunate to work under such a boss. Moqin didn't know that she had received a wave of sympathy unconsciously. She followed Qin Jun to the reception hall at the top floor, the CEO's office. There is not only Mr. Wang inside, but also two men she only met yesterday. Those two people clearly recognized Moqin, and the villain Chu Han sitting on the sofa only glanced at her before moving his gaze away. Li Si, who stood behind him, seemed surprised and looked at her several times. It's not surprising to see Moqin here, but rather surprised to see her standing with Qin Jun. Qin Jun is a rival to the boss, and the two companies can be said to be at odds. It's not intentional targeting, but rather the two families who, for some reason, always stand on opposite sides, and over time it becomes like this. Regarding this, Moqin just wants to say that fate has made you meet in the vast sea of people, and even if you tear it apart, it cannot be opened. Mr. Qin, what brought you here? Mr. Wang didn't get up, but changed his posture and looked at Qin Jun. Qin Jun came here just for that business deal, didn't he? He didn't reach an agreement yesterday and came knocking on his door today. Is it possible that he wants to make a profit? Mr. Wang pondered in his heart that he chose to meet Qin Jun at this time to see which of Chu Han and Qin Jun's conditions satisfied him better. Mr. Wang, could you take a step to speak? Qin Jun was displeased to see others here. Although he wanted to blackmail Mr. Wang with last night's incident, it didn't mean he was willing to discuss it in front of other men. After all, Moqin and his people. Oh. I don't know what Mr. Qin has to say separately. The smile on Mr. Wang's face faded away. Oh, it's just a little kid who dares to give him a face. Seeing that Qin Jun still insisted on talking to him alone, Mr. Wang turned his head to look at Chu Han. Since Mr. Qin has something to discuss with Mr. Wang alone, Chu can wait here for a moment. Mr. Wang nodded and said, Mr. Chu doesn't have any objections, so Mr. Qin can invite him. He wants to see what Qin Jun is going to say. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Ba Zong's Pure First Love 6. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Ba Zong's Pure First Love 6. Qin Jun followed Mr. Wang's footsteps and took just 2 steps before turning to Moqin and saying, You. Just wait for me outside. He had thought about having Moqin confront Mr. Wang, but now he has a hint of reluctance. Perhaps not wanting to cruelly uncover scars. Or perhaps it was because he didn't want Moqin to see his selfish side. After the two of them left, Moqin looked at the other 2 people in the room. Chu Han sat motionless like a mountain on the sofa, sipping tea elegantly, with even a glance of reluctance to give up. It seems that in this aspect, the male lead tends to be irritable, while the villain tends to be aloof. Moqin had no choice but to walk up to Li Qi and say, Last night, thank you all. I will return the money to you now. Is that okay with WeChat transfer? I don't have any cash on me right now. Thinking of what Li Qi said yesterday, Moqin quickly added, No need to add WeChat, I can transfer it to you. Ah. Well. Li Qi certainly knows that there is no need to add friends. But the boss already transferred the money to him last night. I directly transferred 1,000 to him, and he even earned a little bit. Now if this little sister wants to repay the money, she should repay the boss instead of him. He instinctively looked at the boss, but he still looked cold and handsome, completely unaware of what the boss was thinking. Sister, it wasn't me who lent you yesterday, but our boss, so. So, you go tell the boss yourself. Don't ask me. I don't know what the boss means either. Boss, you should make a noise. Moqin looked at Chu Han and then at Li Qi. She refused to respond to the party and went forward directly. What if he got annoyed? Or, let's find Li Qi. Well, why don't I transfer the money to you and... With a thud. Interrupted the voice of Moqin speaking. Chu Han put the teacup back on the table, and his voice was a bit cold. Just transfer it to me, he said speaking. Chu Han took out his phone, clicked a few times, found a QR code, and handed it to Moqin. Moqin immediately opened her phone and scanned the code. Scan successful. A character's business card popped up on the phone screen. A pitch-black avatar with only one Chu character in its name. You. Moqin wanted to say if he had found the wrong QR code, but he swallowed it again at the tip of his mouth. Adding a friend first is the most correct option. Moqin no longer hesitated and clicked on a friend request. Chu Han passed directly in person, and Moqin smoothly transferred the account. She stared at Chu Han without blinking, wondering if he would take the money, so she deleted her friend. Fortunately, Chu Han did not. After receiving the money, he went to the ground to taste tea. Moqin quietly breathed a sigh of relief. In that case, she would at least have a contact information to join forces with the villains in the future. But Li Qi, standing on the side, widened his eyes. He wouldn't naively believe that the boss had found the wrong QR code. The boss is a rigorous and abnormal person, and such a small mistake would never happen to him. Why does the boss want to add friends? What does the boss want to do? Boss, he probably wants to dig a corner of Qin Jun's wall and turn the little sister into an undercover agent planted in the enemy. Li Qi thinks he has the truth. Boss, he's becoming increasingly abnormal at this moment. A sudden commotion came from outside. Do you want to eat and refuse to accept it? Qin Jun roared hysterically. Security guard. Drive him out of me. Mr. Wang was furious. You bastard. Wait for me. Qin Jun cried out in blood. Then I saw two security guards, one holding Qin Jun's arm and dragging him away. Li Qi frowned and looked out. Chu Han also stopped tasting tea, but he didn't look outside, but went to look at Moqin. Moqin blinked and a hint of smile appeared at the corner of her mouth. Then, she said goodbye to the two people and left the office. Li Qi. Why is she laughing when her boss is thrown out? Is he blind? Moqin was not in a hurry to chase Qin Jun, but took the elevator slowly and got downstairs. What are you doing to catch up with? Do you bear the anger of the male lead? She's not the female lead, but she doesn't have this ability. When she comes downstairs, where else is Qin Jun's car outside? I didn't even see a tail light. It's past 5 p.m. now. Even if I take a taxi back to the office, it's already after work time. Moqin decided not to go back to the office. But I plan to have a meal first and then go home to rest. She took out her phone, clicked on a certain app, looked around for some delicious food, and finally found a shop that was only 2 stops away from here. Moqin walked to the bus stop in front and decided to take the bus there. She hasn't taken a bus yet. What happened just now? This one was not included in the original plot. Even if the previous host escaped, there was no situation where Qin Jun and Mr. Wang broke off. It was clear that Moqin had done nothing, but she seemed not surprised by this matter. How did Qin Jun get the opportunity to cooperate with Mr. Wang in the original plot? In the original plot, Moqin dedicating himself to Mr. Wang. But wasn't it unsuccessful this time? Qin Jun thought he had succeeded. Why do you think he came to find Mr. Wang in such a hurry? In order to cut off this business. Qin Jun threatened Mr. Wang with this matter. But this has not happened at all, there is no evidence yet. Qin Jun went to threaten Mr. Wang, what would be the result? Not only is it impossible to receive the compensation he imagined, but it will also completely offend Mr. Wang. It's normal for two people to tear apart their faces and have a bad relationship. I didn't expect Mr. Wang to directly ask the security guard to throw Qin Jun out. This is really satisfying. So, were you intentionally not explaining and causing Qin Jun to misunderstand? After some explanation, the system came to its senses. But what if Qin Jun discovers the truth of the matter, or if he's not so impulsive, can Qin Jun still calmly wait until the truth of the matter is discovered, even though he knows that the signing is today? Probably very difficult. If that's really the case, then let's find another chance next time. No problem, Lao Tai. What about your reputation? Although this made the two people hate each other, both sides also assumed that Mo Qin had been treated like that. Reputation. The result should come out tonight. It will not only prove my innocence, but also prove that I am not lying. Silence is because there is indeed something. Moqin can even say without feeling guilty. I didn't tell a single lie from beginning to end, it was all your own impulsive fault. The system understands what she is saying, the hotel surveillance footage. Unfortunately, Suyao did not personally do this, otherwise what would be Qin Jun's mood if he knew it was all because of Suyao? It seems like dismantling the CP is also good. I just don't know if the man who is the master will give me awesome and find out the behind-the-scenes envoy. For this point, Moqin still has some expectations. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Ba Zong's Pure First Love 7. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. Ba Zong's Pure First Love 7. On the vast road, cars came and went, and a low-key and luxurious black car drove far away. Boss, it's that little sister. Chu Han looked up from the document in his hand and saw the girl standing next to the bus stop on the roadside. Soft and fluffy long hair drapes over the shoulders, with bright eyes and white teeth, rosy lips and jade face. Standing there alone is a beautiful scenery. The gaze of the man waiting for the car on the side drifted towards her repeatedly, but she was completely unaware. She seems to be waiting for the bus, should we give her a ride? Li Qi tentatively said, isn't the little sister with her boss? How can she wait for the bus here alone? Are you too idle? Chu Han withdrew his gaze and his cold gaze fell on Li Qi. Boss, I was wrong. Temperance is the taste of the boss. He suspects that the boss may have entered menopause early. I've added all my friends, why did I drop off on the way? But he dare not say, he chooses to shut up. Chu Han pursed his lips and remembered the scene he had just seen in the office. He asked, do I look scary? Otherwise, why did the girl still choose to transfer the money to Li Qi even though Li Qi had already claimed that the creditor was him and he was present? Upon hearing this, Li Qi paused for a moment and leaned slightly to look at Chu Han's expression in the rearview mirror. He couldn't understand why the boss was too embarrassed to ask such a question. Don't you have any idea about that? Li Qi carefully considered his vocabulary and earnestly flattered him. Of course not, boss. You have authority, how can you call it terrifying? Not scary. After a while, Chu Han nodded, unsure if he agreed or what he meant. Moqin was very lucky. She waited for less than 5 minutes before the bus arrived. According to the online address, she quickly found the store. Most people haven't finished work yet, so even if this store is very popular, there's no need to wait for a seat now. The first time I descended to earth, coupled with my craving, little fairy grass accidentally ordered too much. Then she ate until she was full. Look at your embarrassing appearance. The system hummed. Why am I ashamed? I didn't eat yours again. Moqin's polite return system. It's okay to rely on others, but it's not okay to swallow your pride. You are a grass, what's wrong with a grass? It's also a fairy grass, a fairy. Besides, I'm alone now, and food is paramount to the people. Do you want to starve me to death so that I can find the next one? No, I hope you can persevere to the end. This sentence is truly sincere. Oh, I'll borrow your auspicious words. Moqin chatted with the system while walking towards the shopping mall downstairs. She saw it upstairs, and the clothing below was colorful, with various styles and styles. The little fairy grass, who is used to wearing fairy skirts and robes, wants to try a different outfit. As for the original owner's wardrobe, there were not many clothes inside, and the only few were simple and plain work clothes. Even Moqin, who didn't pay attention to dressing up, felt a bit embarrassed. Thinking about the various small dresses in her immortal mansion, waiting for her to return alone, she felt full of energy again. System. Let's redefine the lack of emphasis on dressing and grooming. Do you think this moon white one looks good or this lotus root colored one looks good? Moqin held two skirts in her hand, hesitating. She actually likes both of these things, but she doesn't have money. I can only afford one item. Beauty, both of these look very nice on you, and you really can't choose them. Why don't you take both of them? The salesperson enthusiastically suggested, ready to go. It seems that as long as the customer gives a command, she will pack the goods as quickly as possible and present them with both hands. The system did not appreciate women's dresses, so it chose to remain silent. Upstairs diagonally across from Chu Han, Assistant Lee was reporting the current situation of the shopping mall when he suddenly heard his own boss say something. What moon is white? Does this have anything to do with the upcoming decisions in the mall? Alas, the boss is becoming increasingly confusing. Assistant Lee followed Chu Han's gaze and looked towards a familiar figure. I just met Assistant Lee, who has always had a good memory, and he recognized that person at a glance. Not long after he saw the boss's words fall, the girl handed a moon-white dress to the salesperson in her hand. This must be a coincidence. Chu Han took the tablet from Assistant Lee's hand and pulled it up by himself. Go buy that lotus-colored dress, he said. Yes, boss. Although I don't know why I have to do this, just go ahead and do it. Moqin took the handbag packaged by the salesperson and happily transferred to the next store. In just 1 hour, the money in Moqin card has decreased by nearly half. Compared to the happy eating and drinking of Moqin, Qin Jun's side is not so wonderful. He rushed back to the company and threw and hid in the office to vent his frustration. The more I think about this today, the angrier I get. He tore off the tie from his neck, threw it to the ground, and then pulled open the buttons of his shirt, revealing a bloodthirsty smirk. Oh, is Qin Jun's woman so good at sleeping? Toast, don't eat, fine. Then give him some color to see. Qin Jun dug up a phone number and called. How's the situation going? As soon as possible, we must get to the hotel surveillance. After hanging up the phone, Qin Jun took a deep breath, with an indelible expression on his brow. He wants to send the surveillance footage directly to Mr. Wang's wife. Mr. Wang and his wife are in a commercial alliance, and the two families are evenly matched. If his wife were to know about this, then there's a good show to watch. He seemed to have seen how much Wang regretted his disrespect towards him today. With this in mind, Qin Jun's anger subsided for a moment, and he turned to the nearby glass cabinet to take out a bottle of red wine and pour himself a glass. As the sky gradually darkened, the sound of high heels suddenly came from the empty top-floor corridor. Da-da-da-da, from far to near. Did Moqin come back? At that time, he was too angry and forgot about her, leaving her there. If she comes back by taxi on her own, she should probably have arrived. Thinking of his plan, a hint of guilt rose in his heart. The sound stopped in front of the door and it was opened. "Ah, June, I guess you're still here." It turned out to be Su Yao, who twisted her waist and entered the door. "Oh my God. What's going on here?" The office was in a mess, and if it weren't for Qin Jun inside, she would have suspected that there were robbers here. Seeing Qin Jun's pale complexion and still drinking alone, Su Yao's heart was sour and a wave of jealousy swept over her. Is Moqin that important to him? Is it worth him going crazy like this? Su Yao changed her worried expression and took a cup. She walked over and sat in Qin Jun's arms, pouring herself a cup. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Ba Zong's Pure First Love 8. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. Ba Zong's Pure First Love 8. June, I'll have a drink with you. She shook the red wine in her glass and drank it with her head up. Turning his head, he hooked Qin Jun's neck, and a fragrant and mellow breath of red wine crossed over. The raging fire ignited in an instant, strong. "Oh, that's all you want? To fulfill you." The man's deep and colorful words leaped out of his chest. 1 hour later. The already messy room is even worse now. Su Yao endured the discomfort and ran to open the window in the room to breathe. With a hint of hot and dry air rushing towards her, Su Yao felt cold and piercing, because when Qin Jun was with her just now, he even called out the name of Moqin. The next day, Qin Jun received evidence collected by his subordinates, including surveillance footage of the hotel that night. Qin Jun's face sank like water. "I didn't know for a moment whether to be happy or afraid." "Happy, is Moqin still clean? I'm afraid that I impulsively offended Mr. Wang to death yesterday." He stared at the surveillance footage and watched it twice before finally choosing to get angry. Qin Jun pointed to the screen and asked, "Who is this person?" The male assistant glanced at the screen and a woman helped the unconscious Moqin into Mr. Wang's room. She is a hotel waiter, and according to her, it was a woman who asked her to bring Moqin into that room. When he was helped in, even though he was already unconscious, he didn't expect to wake up later. Run away. It can only be said that Moqin's luck is really good. The male assistant noticed that Qin Jun's gaze was still on him and quickly continued speaking. "I took photos of all the women at the banquet and showed them to the waiter one by one, but I couldn't find the woman." "Oh, keep checking for me. Who exactly did this? Is it a woman who admires him? Or Mr. Wang?" "Yes." The male assistant exits the office. Moqin thought he would wait for Qin Jun's questioning, but he didn't expect to pass by all morning. Nothing happened. Even she vaguely felt Qin Jun's mood, okay. Is Qin Jun crazy? Lost a big order and completely offended the other party, yet still very happy. Noon. The original owner had few friends in the company, so Moqin went to the cafeteria alone. There aren't many people in the cafeteria, and the options for dishes are also very limited. Moqin casually bought a decent-looking work meal, but the taste was very average. If you insist on praising, you can only say, very healthy. "Is that Moqin from the CEO's office?" a man from afar asked his desk mate. "Yeah, what's going on? Are you looking good?" "Isn't that good? What's your name, Crooked Melon and Cracked Jujube?" "Fuck you. Do you think it would be possible for me to approach her?" The person sitting opposite him looked at him with disdain and rudely poured cold water. "Save your energy and plan," he said. The man was unwilling and looked over there several times. "Do you feel like she's different from before, more beautiful than before? The dressing style has changed, and the temperament has also improved. His vision is definitely not wrong, as long as it's the beauty in this company, he remembers it by heart. Does it have anything to do with you? Hurry up and have your meal, I have to go back and squint for a while." The changes in Moqin can be noticed by others, let alone Qin Jun and Su Yao. After work, Su Yao and Qin Jun went out to eat together. Ah June, you seem very happy today. Did something good happen? Su Yao gave Qin Jun a piece of sweet and sour pork ribs and asked tentatively. When I parted ways with Qin Jun this morning, he still had a worried expression. It had only been a few hours, what could have made him so happy? Su Yao's heart was filled with a faint sense of unease. Qin Jun put down his chopsticks and caressed Su Yao's long chestnut-dyed hair, happily sharing the news with him. Yesterday's incident was a misunderstanding between Moqin and Mr. Wang. Nothing happened to her. In Qin Jun's heart, Su Yao was the most obedient and sensible, otherwise it would not have been possible to stay by his side forever. Su Yao has never expressed any dissatisfaction with Moqin, and even always speaks up for her in front of her. So, he didn't hesitate to speak up about this matter. Share joy. Misunderstanding. Su Yao's eyebrows furrowed instantly, her voice sharp, and she saw that Qin Jun's face was not right. Su Yao quickly added, I'm sorry, I was just too shocked. When I was in the office yesterday, Moqin's sister didn't explain either. Could it be that you made a mistake here? If that's really the case, Moqin will explain yesterday. Why wait until today? Did Sister Moqin tell you about this? Su Yao doesn't have the heart to continue eating now, she's eager to know what's going on. No, it's not what Moqin said. I have already received evidence. We misunderstood this matter. Qin Jun did not notice anything wrong with Su Yao. He only believed that it was Su Yao's concern for Moqin that led him to be so concerned about this matter. Evidence. Evidence. Did you find out what you did? No, if discovered, how could Qin Jun still eat with himself so calmly? He hates betrayal the most. Just like Moqin in the past, 2 years have passed and he still harbors grudges. Yes, I have already obtained the hotel surveillance footage for that day. Su Yao still felt a little nervous in her heart, so. Have you found who the real culprit is? Upon hearing this, Qin Jun frowned and immediately became very determined. I don't have it yet, but I believe I can find it soon. He must find the real culprit. Who knows if that person will attack Moqin again? He can't leave such a hidden danger. Well, that's good. Su Yao was a bit absent-minded, and she couldn't help but start reminiscing about whether she had any omissions the night before yesterday. Now she can't eat at all. Ah June, I'm feeling a bit unwell today. I want to go back and rest first, Su Yao said to Qin Jun with a smile. Qin Jun saw that Su Yao's face was indeed a bit pale, and he didn't think about it. He immediately became concerned. What's wrong? Where are you feeling unwell? Do you need me to take you to the hospital for a check-up? No, no need. June, I'm just a bit tired. Just go back and rest for a while. Qin Jun also stopped eating, got up and picked up his coat, ready to go and pay the bill. Okay, I'll take you back first. Su Yao looked at Qin Jun's concern for her, feeling both sweet and uneasy in her heart. Moqin, why did you come back? Why did you come back to grab her? Ah Jun. Moqin must not be left behind. Su Yao was held in Qin Jun's arms, and her heart became even more determined by this idea. The car sped away, and the cool evening breeze blew by, making Su Yao's mind more clear. Ah Jun, I know I shouldn't speculate about Moqin's younger sister like this, but yesterday you went to trouble Mr. Wang for her. Why didn't she explain a word for so long? Yao, you've been overthinking. Moqin doesn't know why I always go to find Wang, and she did go to Mr. Wang's room that night. Qin Jun drove and answered Su Yao's question. Moqin loves herself so much, how could there be other reasons? It must be because I misunderstood her. She was too sad, so she didn't explain. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Ba Zong's Pure First Love 9. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Ba Zong's Pure First Love 9. Did you find out why Qin Jun went to see Mr. Wang yesterday? Chu Han sat on the sofa and asked Li Si, who had just entered the door. Li Si handed the information in his hand to Chu Han. I found it, it's. Li Si hesitated, causing Chu Han to look up at him. Chu Han's sharp gaze made Li Si's spine stiffen. He took a deep breath and said, it's because of Mo Qin, one of his assistants. Li Si gave a brief account of what happened that night. After speaking, he lifted his eyes and secretly glanced at Chu Han's expression, then added, Mo Qin is the little sister we met the night before yesterday. Chu Han flipped through the information on the table and tapped the table with his right index finger, pondering, Qin Jun's ex-girlfriend. Li Si nodded. Where has it developed? This seemed like asking Lise, or as if talking to himself. Ah. Li Si captured this sentence with a sense of shock. Which step has been taken? Is this not a matter of their little couple? How did he know? No, that's not the point. Before he could start his association again, he heard Chu Han ask. So, this matter is an error. Yes, it's precisely because of this misunderstanding that Mr. Wang has already spoken up and refused any further cooperation with the Qin family. Li Si was also very surprised by this matter, but when he thought of the boss's plan, he couldn't help but remind him. It is said that this Ma Qin has a deep affection for Qin Jun. In order to return to China as soon as possible, he completed his studies ahead of schedule. So, boss, it's impossible for Ma Qin to become our undercover agent. You can't dig into the corner. Deep-rooted in love. Did you see it with your own eyes? Chu Han gave Li Si a disdainful glance. Yesterday when Qin Jun was kicked out, she smiled. There was no worry on her face, not to mention the deep roots of love. It was hard to say whether there was love or not. By the way, boss, the person who calculated Mo Qin that night was Qin Jun's little girlfriend Su Yao. However, it seems that the other party has not yet discovered this matter. It's a coincidence to discover this, but there's no need to go into detail about it. Then. Don't let Qin Jun notice yet. Chu Han raised his eyebrows and looked at Li Si with a rare hint of appreciation in his eyes. Yes. Lise nodded heavily. As for why did the boss do this? If he knew, he wouldn't be a subordinate, he would be the boss himself. Well, come on, thank you for your hard work. You can go back and rest. After Li Si left, Chu Han picked up the information on the table and opened it again. The little girl is good everywhere, but her taste is too bad. Why did you fall for Qin Jun? His gaze stopped on the page of Mo Qin's personal information. At the age of 22, as an exchange student in his junior year, he went abroad and completed his undergraduate and graduate studies in just 2 years. Is coming back for Qin Jun, this damn thing. If you can't find a job, don't you know how to apply to his company? The original owner did not go to Chu Han's company at that time because the two were hostile. Although there is no possibility of her being with Qin Jun, she does not want to stand on his side of hostile forces. Later on, the original owner was threatened by Qin Jun, leaving no room for choice. After more than a week of investigation, Qin Jun still hasn't found what happened that night. Moreover, due to Mr. Wang's matter, Qin Jun was also very busy, so this matter was left unresolved. Su Yao breathed a sigh of relief. What worries her is that Qin Jun's treatment of Ma Qin is getting better and better. Last time, I didn't harm her, but instead allowed her to benefit from misfortune. This makes it difficult for Su Yao to sit still. I originally wanted to make it difficult for Ma Qin at work, but I didn't expect that Ma Qin was much more capable than she had imagined. She was able to handle all kinds of work with ease, doing it quickly and well, even she couldn't compare to herself. Fortunately, the opportunity will soon come again. Ah Jun, will you take me to the Luo family's banquet tomorrow night? Su Yao, wearing a slim red dress, leaned half against Qin Jun's embrace and asked coquettishly. Of course, if I don't take you, who will I take? Then I need to dress up well. Qin Jun grabbed Su Yao's slender waist and rubbed his hand twice, causing Su Yao to burst into a coquettish smile. However, June, every time you go, you only focus on discussing business and socializing with people. I am very bored. Why don't you let Sister Moqin come with us? How about I have a companion in this way too? Su Yao acted coquettishly with ease, but Qin Jun had no reason to refuse. Okay, it's all up to you. Yeah, that's great. I love you. Su Yao said, giving a sweet kiss on the man's side face. The man's gaze became dangerous. This is not enough. The two of them started playing games again, really happy. In the afternoon, Moqin was called to the office. Tomorrow night, the Luo family has a dinner party. You come with me. Me. What about Su Yao? Moqin was a bit surprised. What's going on with bringing an assistant instead of a girlfriend to the dinner party? Qin Jun placed the documents in his hand on the table, closed them together, and looked up at Moqin. He wants to know with what kind of mood Moqin asked this sentence. But she was hiding so well, he didn't see anything and remained calm. A nameless anger rose in his heart. What he hates the most is the appearance of Moqin, as if the beauty of the two before has already passed, and only he is trapped. Qin Jun laughed back in anger, which was a wicked smile. Of course, Yao Yao is my female companion to attend. As for you, Yao Yao is afraid of being too bored alone, so she asked me to bring you along. He stared at Moqin for a moment, hoping to see sadness, anger, and humiliation on her indifferent face. Nothing. Qin Jun suddenly felt like a clown, acting alone in this monologue. What kind of sadistic female lead script is this? Tonger, did you give the wrong script? Actually, I'm not a white Moonlight, but a female lead. System. Sleep, sleep, everything in your dreams. Moqin recalled the plot for a moment. Well, it's a plot that's not included in the plot. She asked the system in her heart, will Chu Han go? Should, maybe I will go. One question, 3 unknowns. Please step down from this ferry. Qin Jun said again, it's decided like this. Tomorrow, Yao Yao will go to her favorite store to do styling. You can go with her. Look, you're just passing by. All of this was originally yours, but you gave up on it yourself. Do you regret it? Qin Jun asked silently, locking his eyes tightly, and then he heard the girl nodded and obediently responded. Okay, Mr. Qin, I understand. Just go ahead and let's go. It's just that we might meet some villains and see if we can develop a friendly revolutionary sentiment. For a moment. Mr. Qin, is there anything else? Moqin asked. Staring at her all the time without saying anything, it's really scary, there's no one there. Qin Jun regained his senses and surprisingly, he was mesmerized by Moqin's gaze. He waved his hand irritably. Go out. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Ba Zong's Pure First Love 10. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Ba Zong's Pure First Love 10. He had to admit that after Moqin left him, she seemed to have become more and more beautiful, which was a beauty that Su Yao could not match. Qin Jun's mind was filled with uncontrollable memories of the past. No. This woman is not worth it. Qin Jun's company has been in a bad state recently. However, the grand goal of turning the male and female protagonists with dried Scutellaria bicalensis is still 108,000 miles away. Su Yao took the initiative to take her to the banquet this time, so she definitely felt uneasy. Why don't we have a CP dismantling for this banquet? Treat others in their own way. System. I didn't ask you to dismantle the CP, you probably didn't want to dismantle it, you can go up on your own. The next afternoon, Su Yao took Moqin and went to do some styling. Ouch, your two sisters have really high looks. The slim and fashionable man in the shape twisted his body and exclaimed. This beautiful woman, look at the look I made for your sister. The more the man looked, the more satisfied he became, and turned his head to ask Su Yao for credit. Sister. Upon hearing this title, Su Yao's heart immediately ignited. Jealous fire. She's not my sister, we're just friends. Su Yao explained with a smiling face, saying that every word was squeezed out from between her teeth. Ah. I'm sorry, you look a bit like each other, so. Is this a question that doesn't seem like it? Are you saying I'm old and good? Speaking of which, Su Yao is indeed 3 years older than Moqin. Qin Jun was a senior graduate student of Moqin, 4 years older than Moqin. Speaking of which, Su Yao is still Moqin's senior sister. Although it is true that one is older, no woman would be happy when spoken of by others. Not to mention the one who looks younger than her, she is still her rival in love. Su Yao looked at the well-dressed Moqin and felt even more uncomfortable in her heart. Because the two people's designs, even though they were made by the same person, Moqin's looks better than theirs. Yes, even Su Yao had to admit this fact. Although Su Yao dislikes Moqin, her eyes are not blind yet and her aesthetics are still online. No matter how you look at it, you are 2 points inferior to Moqin. She suddenly regretted bringing Moqin with her and even more regretting pulling Moqin to do the styling with herself. But this was ordered by Qin Jun, and the money was also recorded in Qin Jun's account. Su Yao could only swallow this breath. Sister Moqin, you look really nice today. Stylist. Didn't you say she wasn't my younger sister? Isn't this just a slap in the face? Moqin. What does it mean to look good today? Did yesterday and tomorrow not look good? Let's go quickly. If we're late later, it won't be good. Su Yao took Moqin's arm and pulled the person away. You've only been in the limelight for a while now, and you won't be proud anymore. Qin Jun received 2 people and was amazed when he saw Moqin. Ah Jun, do you think I'm beautiful today? When Su Yao saw the man, she was like a light butterfly flying towards him. Beautiful. Of course my Yao Yao is beautiful. Qin Jun withdrew his gaze and landed on the woman holding his arm. The mouth can lie, but the heart cannot. Moqin is a bit unhappy with this romantic couple. He actually thinks I don't have Su Yao Mei. Does he have poor eyesight? 6:30 p.m. The car drove towards the entrance of the Luo family. The receptionist at the door approached with a smile and opened the car door for the arriving guests. 2 people come down from the back seat, 1 male and 1 female, and a beautiful woman comes down from the front seat. Is this a man with 2 female companions? The waiter is coy. The 2 women are a little similar. Are they sisters? The man held one arm and ignored the other. The waiter said he couldn't understand. He led the 3 of them into the hall, glanced at their backs, and then went back to work. Su Yao smiled brightly and stood next to Qin Jun, accepting everyone's gaze. She held her head high and chest high, like a big white goose dragged out for exhibition. The people who come to the banquet, if they don't know Su Yao, can they still not know Qin Jun? Therefore, they paid more attention to the woman standing next to Qin Jun. The aristocratic women around who admired Qin Jun ran towards Su Yao with jealous, envious, and curious eyes. Due to Qin Jun's deliberate neglect, Su Yao intentionally abandoned the Moqin. Soon, the 3 of them dispersed. Qin Jun and Su Yao chatted and exchanged pleasantries with people everywhere. A woman with jewels, an ordinary appearance, and a chubby figure walked up to Qin Jun. Brother Jun, you're here. Don't even tell me in advance so I can go pick you up. The girl coquettishly covered her mouth, her restless gaze falling on Qin Jun's handsome face. Qin Jun nodded in response. I don't know what relationship the lady next to you has with Brother Jun. The girl's gaze turned around Su Yao and guessed, it must be a small employee of June Brothers Company. Let's call someone to act as a female companion. This is saying that Su Yao has no temperament, even if she wears fancy clothes, she is still a poor-looking person. Su Yao held Qin Jun's arm tightly and leaned closer to the man, smiling generously. Hello, Miss Luo. I am Ah Jun's girlfriend, and it's his job to be his girlfriend. Qin Jun comfortingly patted Su Yao's small hand and said to Miss Luo, who was standing in front of him, I don't know where Mr. Luo is now. Can Miss Luo take me to meet him? Miss Luo's plump face became unsightly due to Su Yao's words. Seeing Qin Jun not explaining yet, her girlish heart was even saddened. Among the wealthy second generation of her age, her favorite is Qin Jun's appearance. She is 1.8 meters tall, handsome, and has a good figure. She has been salivating for a long time, but she has never had a chance to succeed. Faced with Qin Jun's request, she naturally had no reason to refuse. Okay, you come with me. Qin Jun looked at Luo Qian's huge body in front of him, with a plump figure that could not be concealed by his formal attire. Such a woman always showed a flirtatious expression towards him, which made him feel somewhat disgusted. Just as he was about to go upstairs, Luo Qian suddenly turned around and his slightly provocative gaze fell on Su Yao. Brother Jun, you're going to see my dad with. This woman isn't quite suitable, right? You. Su Yao furrowed her brows, this woman was completely shameless. Even though he knows he's a man of his own, he still maintains this posture. Her sarcastic words were interrupted before she could utter them. Yao Yao, this is really not suitable. You can go play for a while yourself, I will be back soon. Qin Jun looks down on Luo Qian, but what are women meddling in business matters? He didn't even think about it, so he dismissed Su Yao. Okay, Jun. Su Yao held her mouth, feeling a bit unwilling. She saw Luo Qian's proud expression and suddenly stood on tiptoe. A light kiss fell on the corner of Qin Jun's mouth, and Su Yao sweetly coquettishly said, then come back and find me quickly. Well, I got it. Qin Jun chuckled lightly, clearly impressed by Su Yao's demeanor. Su Yao indeed saw Luo Qian's face turn black, and with a good mood, she turned around and walked into the crowd. End of this chapter.